What's happening, guys? Mr. Rouge again, and this time we're talking about another biological molecule, lipids. If you think back to the last video, we covered carbohydrates. The function of carbohydrates was super fast energy. It was a stored form of food for plants, and it helped give plants structure, which we call fiber, okay? Today we're talking about lipids. Another word for lipids are fats and oils, okay? We're going to cover their building blocks, and then we're going to cover their structure as a bigger molecule, okay? So let's go over this. Let's say, here's an analogy. Let's say I give you a few dollars. You might take those dollars and go spend it right away, right? As soon as I give you the money, you might go spend it. If I give you so much money, hundreds and hundreds or thousands and thousands or millions of dollars, more money than you know what to do with, eventually you're going to have to go store that into a bank, okay? So a little bit of money gets spent right away. A lot of money eventually is going to get stored into the bank, all right? Just keep that in your mind. Okay, let's say I give you a little bit of starch. Let's say I feed you a little bit of bread. That bread, just like we covered in the last video, is going to get broken down into glucose and then get stored as glycogen. And that glycogen will be either in your liver or in your muscles. But now let's say I give you a lot of starch and a lot of simple sugars, okay? A lot of sweets and a lot of candies. That's going to be more energy, because remember, carbohydrates, starch is a carbohydrate, carbs are a source of energy. That's going to be more energy than your body can handle. So what's your body going to do with this? It's going to turn it into fat tissue. It's going to go into your fat stores, okay? So the whole purpose for why we have fat, it's a savings account for energy, okay? Just like the bank as a savings account for money that you don't need right now, the purpose for fat is it's energy. It's a storage for energy we don't need right now, okay? So let's go over lipids a little more. The building block of lipids are called fatty acids, okay? The function or the purpose of the lipids, number one, just like I said, it's stored energy. Carbohydrates were fast energy, okay? I want you to make that distinction between the two. Carbohydrates are fast, lipids are stored energy. It provides us insulation, so fat will actually surround some of our organs. You don't want too much fat, but there is some insulation for our organs, and it does keep us warm. It makes our cell membranes, so we'll see in a moment. The outer layer, or the outer skin of each of our cells, is actually made up of fat. And then there are these signal molecules called steroid hormones, which we'll talk about later on in the year. And those send signals. It's one of the ways our body communicates, okay? Some examples that I want you to know, and these are the big go-to ones. Some examples of lipids are fats, oils, and waxes, okay? I also want you to know what a triglyceride is. We're going to cover more about triglycerides in class through an activity. But I want you to take a look at this molecule. Remember I said the building block of lipids were fatty acids? Okay. This triglyceride is 3 of those fatty acids, 1, 2, and 3, and they're connected to a glycerol molecule, okay, or a glycerol backbone. That makes a triglyceride. I want you to know what a phospholipid is, and we're going to cover this more later on in the class. And then I want you to know cholesterol. Okay? Just put this on pause. Go ahead and take note of this and do me a huge favor. Give these right here a quick sketch into your notebooks. Not too much. Not too detailed, just a quick sketch. Okay? Something for you to refer back to. Okay. I had mentioned that fats actually make the outer layer of our cell membrane. And here's why. If we take a look at a cell and we zoom in on the skin of that cell, if you will, we will see that the cell membrane is actually made up of phospholipids, okay? The other component that you might see in here is cholesterol, okay? So the outer layer of our cell is made up of mostly lipids. We have phospholipids that makes kind of like the wall, and then you have cholesterol, which is embedded in between those phospholipids. And we'll talk more about that at a later time when we talk more about cells, but I just want you to know the cell membrane is made up of phospholipids, and it does have cholesterol that's wedged in there, okay? Okay, let's make this connection back to food. So last time I showed you this, I showed you when you eat carbohydrates, that goes into your blood, then it gets stored as glycogen and in your liver and muscles, okay? So let's say we eat too much carbohydrates. Let's say we go on a sugar binge. We drink the sugar, we drink the soda, we have lots of candy, pastry, sweets, and this sugary coffee right here, okay, this mocha frappuccino. What's going to happen is, so all of the sugar is going to hit your blood, and you're going to get what's called high blood sugar, okay? What's going to end up happening, remember, you didn't eat fat, you just ate carbohydrates. What's going to happen is some of that carbohydrate is going to get stored as glycogen in your liver and in your muscle, but then it gets too filled up, and your body says, hey, we have too much than we need. Let's go ahead and put this into our savings account. Well, let's put this in our bank. And it's going to take those carbohydrates, which is fast energy, and it's going to turn it into stored energy, okay? It's going to turn it into triglycerides or fatty acids and store it into your fat tissue, okay? So let's do a quick recap. Lipids. What is their building block? Their building block are fatty acids, okay? The function, stored energy, such as fat tissue, okay? It makes your cell membrane, which we saw with the phospholipids and cholesterol. I did mention it does make some hormones, which are signal molecules, okay? And it also provides insulation. It helps regulate our body temperature, keeps us warm, and it's a little bit of cushioning for our organs, okay? What are examples? And I do want you to know the examples. Fats, oils, and waxes. Okay, those are the three most common ones that we'll see. What are the other ones that we'll see? Triglycerides, which is 3 fatty acids, 1, 2, 3, with a glycerol backbone. A phospholipid, which we'll talk more about at another time. Remember, the phospholipid looks like this. It's got a phosphate head and 2 lipid tails, okay? We'll talk more about those at a later time. And also cholesterol, okay? Cholesterol was wedged in between the cell membranes, or the phospholipids in the cell membranes, all right? That's the big idea that I want you guys to get. That's it for today, folks, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace.